It was an afternoon on the street North Richmond. This street used to be very quiet, except for the time of departure from school when all his students were retiring to their homes. The winter came with short days, and it was dark before finishing dinner when the guys gathered. The neighborhood was already covered in darkness, barely illuminated by faint headlights.
The cold was numbing, but they played until their skin shone in sweat. Their games led them to run along the houses between the dark gardens, and when they returned to their streets, the windows of the houses were lighted up. They saw his uncle around the corner. They hid until he came into the house. They did something similar to Manga's sister when she called for her brother for the tea. There she waited, being illuminated by the light escaping from the door. Her brother was making fun of her while the boy was watching her by the fence. He was so shocked with his figure that he was very impressed and in love.
The next days, he watched her through the window during the morning, hiding behind the curtain, being careful that she didn't see him.
To get the girl's attention, he was waiting for her to pass outside his house to go out and walk behind her, then to overtake her and get her attention.
Finally, the day came and the girl spoke to the boy.
"Are you going to Araby?"
The boy was so surprised by the situation that was happening that he didn't know what to answer to the girl, so he only stammered.
"I really want to go. It will be very fabulous."
Are you going?
"No, I have an activity in the church that I have to attend."
I'll go and get you something.
The boy was very distracted all day thinking about the idea of going to Araby.
When the boy returned home for dinner, he sat in front of the clock waiting for his uncle's arrival. After a while, there he got feet up and went up to the rooms on the second floor. Peering out the window, he could see how his friends were on the street playing. He must have been in that place for about an hour, imagining her lover's silhouette. At tea time, he went down to the first floor and again found his Aunt Mercer chatting with her other aunt, sitting by the fire. She was a slender widow. The boy had to put up with all that tea-time gossip. The conversation dragged on for another hour, and his uncle still hadn't arrived. After a while, her Aunt Mercer retired as she did not like to be out of her house so late. The boy began to walk around to the room with his fist closed.
"I'm afraid you will have to postpone your trip to the fair for another night." At 9 o'clock, he heard his uncle enter the house. As they were going to the middle of the dinner, he asked him for the money he needed for the fair. He had forgotten it.
Everyone is already in bed and fully sleeping. The kid didn't smile.
"Can't you just give him the money and let him go? You made him wait long enough."
The boy's uncle apologized very sorry and gave him the money after giving him some advice, also asking him where the fair was.
He walked down Buckingham Street toward the station. The streets were full of people with shopping bags, which made him remember the purpose of his trip. He sat in an empty train carriage. After an endless delay, the train slowly left the station. He finally arrived at the next station, got off, and observed a building bearing the name Araby.
Everything was dark, and he came to look at what some people were selling. They were porcelain vases, As he looked, he began to pay attention to what they were talking about, noticing his characteristic English accent. I never said that.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
Isn't it that what she said?
Yes, I heard it.
Oh, but what a liar. One of the merchants came up to ask him if he wanted something for commitment, to which he replied,
No, thank you. He kept going around the bazaar, looking at the products for sale until they announced that they would turn off the lights, indicating the closure of the gallery. In the dark, he let all his discomfort surface. He felt like a naive and foolish creature.